Now in the second example, what is given? Configure the port A as an input in mode 1 and port B as the output in mode 1 and the port C7 to 8 as the input port and port C0 to 5 are the handshake line and some input lines will be there and other ports will be set as the output mode. So it will be set as a don't care condition. Now we will see how we can solve this example. So here you can check in our example that is given as the input-output mode. For setting the operation of our control word format in input-output mode, we are writing here 1. Now the next bit will be that is the D5 and the D6 bit that will be used for setting the modes of our port A structure. So in this example, what is given? The port A will be set as the input in our mode 1 of our operation. In case of port A, whenever it is a group 0 and our mode 0, in the second example, we have to configure the port A as input in mode 1, port B as output in mode 1, port C7 to 8 as the input port and that will be set as the PC5 to 0 are the handshake lines and some input lines will be there and others are the output lines. So this can be shown with the help of don't care condition. So in this example, the mode will be given as the input-output mode. So I am writing here 1 for our D7 bit because for input-output mode, we are setting 1 and for BSR mode, we are setting 0. But according to our example, the mode will be input-output mode. So our D7 bit is set to 1. Now the next bits will be set for mode of our port A. And according to our example, the mode will be 1. And for setting our mode 1, we can write here 0 and 1 because there are 3 modes will be there in our port A structure. That is mode 0, mode 1 and mode 2. For mode 0, we are writing 0, 0. For mode 1, we are writing 0, 1. And for mode 2, we are writing here 1x that is not defined condition. So in this example, the mode 1 will be set. So I am writing here 0 and 1 for our mode of port A. Now the next bit is port A structure. So in case of port A structure, we are setting it as the input mode. So for setting the data in our input mode, we have to set here 1 in our control word format. And for setting the output, we have to write 0 in our control word format. So in this structure, the input mode we have to set so that I can write here 1 in case of D4 bit. Now we have to read the next statement in our example, that is port B of our output will be set and it will be set in mode 1 operation. So whenever you are considering this group B structure, that time there are 2 modes of operation, mode 0 and mode 1. For setting the operation in mode 0, we are putting the 0 bit, and for setting the operation in mode 1, we are writing here 1 in bit structure. Now what is given in that example? Here we have to set this port B as the output mode. For setting the data into our output mode in our command word format or control word format, we are putting 0. So this is the structure for our port B, and I am putting here 0 because we have to set our port B in output mode. And the mode of our port B will be set as a mode 1 of our operation. For setting the data in mode 1 operation, we have to put here 1. Now these 2 bits will be remaining, that is port C upper part and the port C lower part. So how this bit will be set? According to our example, we have to set this port B and port C as well as our port A. So we have set now port A and port B structure according to the mode of operation and their port A and port B value according to their input and output condition. Now in this example, the port C78 will be considered as the input and output port and port C520 will be considered for handshake line. And some of the input lines are there and some of the output lines are there. So this will be in a conflicting mode. So that we are considering the don't care condition in case of this operation. So whenever we are considering this port C upper part, that time the line number will be indicating as port 4 to port 7. So it will be indicated as PC4 to PC7. And whenever you are considering this port C lower part, that time you are writing here PC0 to PC3. So in this example, what is written? Our port C7 and 8, this port will be considered as the input port. So for setting the input port, whenever I am considering this port C7 to 8, then this data will be belong to our lower part of upper part of our data. So upper part will be considered here in this D3 bit. So I am putting here as the input condition, and whenever we are setting here PC5 to 0, then this part will be considered in our lower part of our port C structure. So this is our port C structure lower part, and here we have to put this don't care condition. So I'm setting here X as a don't care condition in D0 bit. Now we will get the result as 1011 and 110X. So I'm writing here the number that is 1011 and 110X. So this 4-bit will be considered as a 1011. That means you can write in as a hexadecimal, that is B. And for this lower part of our nibble will be considered as 110X. So it may be considered as 1100 or it may be 1101. So this last bit is not defined. So it can be 0 or it can be 1 because we have declared here don't care condition. So if we are setting it as 1100, then we can write as a C for this number. And when we are writing here 1101, then I can write here D for 1101. So my answer should be either BCH and it should be BDH. So for this example, we will get two outputs as 1011 110X. So X can be indicated as 0 and 1. So we will get the output as BCH or BDH. So in this video, we have learned what do you mean by input-output mode and how we can solve this two example with the help of I/O mode.